Right. Hello. Hello. Is it me you're looking for? No, it's not me you're looking for. All right. How is everybody doing there? Let's just do that. Bam. And we are live. Hello, hello, hello. I was channeling Lionel Richie. What was that guy's name? What was that? What was that singer's name? Right? Lionel Richie. That's right. How is everyone doing this Wednesday evening? Right on the 25th of May. I am so glad to see everyone. Let's see here. Leah's here. And I can see other people are watching, but they're too shy to pop in and say hello, so that is totally okay. My name is Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and this is our Wednesday edition of our live drawing events. On Wednesdays, we always draw a portrait. On Mondays, we draw a landscape of some sort. So if you are part of our Facebook group, we vote. I will, in the morning on Wednesday, I will put up a couple portraits, and then as a group, we will vote on which one you want to do, and this is the one that you chose, or that got the most votes. So we're going to tackle this tonight. What else? Facebook group, we have a couple links in the description. One of the links is for Beginner's Workshop. It's an introductory course of how to draw the main volumes that every artist, or if you're going to really get proficient at drawing, that you should really capitalize on. That's a free class. And then there's also, I think, another link for the Daily Draw. The Daily Draw is a class we get together every morning for about a half an hour to 40 minutes. And we hit all the different subject matter. So anyways, that's how we do it here, and I would appreciate it if you want to give the video a good thumbs up and a like, and give me a shout out in the comments. That would be awesome. Okay, so let's get started. So let's talk about approaching the face from, once again, my approach, and its approach of, we don't try and draw the likeness. What we try and do is draw the construction. We don't worry about the likeness. So if we can disregard with trying to make it look like her, instead try and get the construction, the foundation of her face, the likeness actually will just fall into place. And sometimes it takes a little bit of pressure off you as well. So my aim is to help you understand how to construct a face, okay? And how do we do that? Let me go ahead and remove our picture for a second here. We'll come up a new layer, and I go through a 3-step process, okay? It's 2D, determining the two-dimensional aspect. Actually, you know what we can do tonight? I have some Play-Doh here. Oh, good. We're going to have fun. All right, so we start off with the 2D axis. That brings us to the 3D axis. And then it brings us to the face, the placement of the face. So this is really the method that we take in drawing a face. So in my hand right here, I have a small ball of Play-Doh. You see this? And we're going to stick this axis inside this piece of Play-Doh. It's almost like I took the same thing. See, I'll come back here, and I put this coming right out of the center of my head. Okay, but in this case, we're just going to use this little teeny model here. So the 2D axis. Is the head leaning this direction, or is it leaning this direction? Okay, So that's the first thing we have to determine. So let's start off with a simple sphere. And we're going to draw another one right next to it. And we'll draw a third right next to that, okay? All right, so let's just say this 2D axis is heading straight up and down, all right? So let's do that first. So that 2D axis is straight up and down. Now this next one, it's leaning just a little bit, okay? So we're going to lean it. And in the third one, it's going to lean the other way, like that. Okay, easy. Let's call this A, B, C. All right. Next step, we have to determine the 3D axis, meaning is it leaning towards us or is it leaning away from us? So in A, let's just say our axis was leaning away from us. That means the head is going back. So I'm simply going to add the underside of that arrow there so you get a sense that it's going back. And if it's going back, the brow line, we're going to be looking up at the brow line. You see that? And let's see if I can I'm going to create a brow line in this so we can maybe actually visualize it. Oh, there you go. Wow, I don't know if you could see that, but all right, so there's my brow line. So if it is going back like this, you could see that we're looking we're looking up at it. See? I don't know if this is working very good. It sounded great in theory. All right. B, let's say B is coming forward towards us, okay? So if B was coming forward to us, we're going to see it like this, and the brow line is going to be turning towards us like this. You see that? It's coming towards us. And B, let's also make B coming towards us, okay? So B is also going to be coming in our direction, and it's going to be around like this, okay? Okay, so that's the 3D axis, all right? So we've determined that both of those are coming towards us. All right, next is the placement of the face. So if I have this axis up on top and I'm leaning to the right, there's my 2D axis, and now I'm coming forward. Where along this is the placement of my face? See? So what we do here is then we're going to, oh look, placement of my face is looking in this direction. This is the center line. Center line is the line that goes right between your eyes and right down the front of your nose. Okay, over here on B, let's just say the face is coming in this direction. Okay, there's the center line right there. And in C, we'll say the face is going this way. Ooh, it got away from me there. Okay, next let's determine where I always look for the temples of the eye. The temples of the eye are the two little nodes in your skull. You could reach up and feel them. They're right to the outside of your eyebrows, okay? So over here, it's going to be right about there. And this is going to cause a flatness of the skull over there and a flatness of the skull over there. And we could even come down here with a straight line to help us remind us of the surface line there. Over here, let's just say the temples are going to be right over here. And so this is going to cause a flatness of the skull. Flatness of the skull right there. It's going to be our straight line. And then over here, let's just say our temples are going to be right there. Okay. flatness of the skull right there, okay? All right, so then let's kind of get where the nose would be. The nose is going to come, let's see, just about like this is going to be the bottom of the nose. So between the eye line and the bottom of the nose is about a halfway, and then you could say another halfway down to the chin, okay? There we go. So let's mark that. So we're going to go right about there, and then our chin's going to go right about there. Brow line, come down about halfway, and then we're going to come, ooh, that's going to be a very long face. Halfway. I'm going to go right about there. Okay, so that bottom mark is the bottom part of the chin. All right, let's come down a little bit, and then we're going to sweep around. This is going to be our jaw. Come at the center there, just drop that down just below where the nose is. That's going to be our jaw right there. And the same thing over here. We're going to drop this down. This is the jaw. Okay. Now let's get the back of the skull. It's going to come back here and come around. Back of the skull is going to be back here. And then the back of the skull is going to be back here. All right. Okay, next. Let's get our nose in place. And with our nose, we're going to have it's like a keystone shape. The keystone shape is like this right here. Okay, it's a keystone shape. It's going to be the top of the nose right there, right? Let's put that on each one. I'm going to come down like this, and that's basically my shape of my nose. So let's come down like this. All right. Come down just like that. All right, the nose is going to flare out a little bit. The nose is going to flare out just a little bit on the bottom. And then we're going to connect the sides of it. Let's put our chin in place. Now our chin is going to be kind of down here. Here's our chin, going to be right in there. Next, let's do the ball of the mouth. Ball of the mouth is going to come behind the bottom of the nose and behind the chin. Next, let's get the visor. Okay, this is the part of the eyes that goes back and then down. If I had my little, it would be something like this. I'm going to use my Play-Doh here to maybe demonstrate that. Right? Right? It's like this. The visor. All right? right. Then our eyes. Let's draw our mouth first. Okay, there's the line where our mouth is going to go, and the corners of the mouth go to the outside of the ball of the mouth. And then usually the pupils of your eye will line up. Watch this. The pupils of your eye, the center of your eye will line up with the corner of your mouth. You see that? And then we could simply add our eyelids on top. And then the last thing I want to show you is your ears. Your ears usually line up with the top of the brow line will line up with the top of the ear, and then the bottom of the nose, okay? And those are the general constructions of a head. Now, if you get those down and are able to kind of draw those on a regular basis, going through 2D, 3D, face placement, and then all those extra little parts, it's really going to serve you well of getting your head all squared up, okay? Any questions on that? If you have questions, you can throw them in the chat. I can look at them, but that's the basics. That's the basis of it. Okay. All right. Let's bring up our picture now and see how we do. Now, one thing you might want to do is make sure that when you're drawing your portrait, because we really only are going to be taking maybe, what time is it? Oh, maybe 40 minutes to draw this. Don't draw it so big. I mean, you know, draw it no bigger than the palm of your hand. That's about the size that you should be trying to draw these portraits. And then if you have more time, you can always come back and draw it a little bit bigger and add a little more detail, okay? So let's go ahead and start with a sphere. And in these early stages, I'm going to be using the elbow of my hand. So I'm using my whole arm to draw it, not my wrist. When I get more toward the end of this, I will use more of my wrist. Okay, so first thing, let's determine the 2D axis. She's leaning forward this way. You see that? So that's my 2D axis. And she's leaning forward. Her head is tilted and she's coming forward a little bit. So I'm looking down on top of her. So let's try and get this, but it's so slight. That's the only thing that's kind of deceiving on this. So I'm going to draw my brow line at a very slight curve here. Okay, that's going to be my 3D axis. Let's get the placement of our center line. It's going to be, I think, roughly about there. fact, I'm going to move mine over just a little bit more, I think. Okay. Let's get this, look at this now. Look at this temple is really far from that center line. You see that where I got that there? And the other one is really close. All right. The left side of her face has a real strong straight line, so I want to drop that in. And keep drawing light, by the way. Keep drawing light. Okay, let's roughly lightly put in this keystone shape here, right? And when I draw this nose, this is what I'm looking for here. Let me show you. I want to make sure I'm the right layer here. Okay, what am I looking for here is this. I'm going to look for at this negative shape here. You see this? That's what I'm going to try and look for when I'm adding my nose. Okay. This is the underside of her nose right here. And it's going back a little bit. Okay. You might have to adjust that a little bit later, but that should at least get us in the ballpark. Okay, let's get this chin in place now. And one other item that I'm using, let me show you this. Is I am looking like what if I drew a straight line. This would be a line of measurement, okay? I could also kind of get an idea where her bottom of her ear is going to be lining up with the bottom of her eye. Bottom of her nose is going to line up with the corner of her jaw. These are horizontal lines that I use to measure my proportion. So this is going to come back right about there. I'm going to sweep around. And then I determined already just the back of the ear is going to line up with the eye. It's going to be somewhere around there. So I'm going to put this in just for right now to help me get a sense of measuring this. I'm going to add her forehead in. On Monday we were drawing waves, learning how to draw waves in the daily draw, and kind of it's almost the same approach where you are looking for shapes of the big area first. Looking for shapes, and then you can come back in and break those shapes down. You see that? And keeping it really light. All right, so this is going to be roughly the ball of her mouth. And she is very young, so we want to make sure that you can't even see it because she doesn't have any wrinkles yet. But it will help us to determine where the corners of her mouth are. All right, let's get these eyes in here just a little bit, okay? Okay. And I like to draw the whole eyeball. I draw the whole eyeball. Because it helps me to place the pupil. And since she is looking down, the pupil is going to be toward the left. And I want to just go in really light. And the same thing on the other side here. Okay, let's work on the eye on the right hand side here first. And I could see that there's the edge of it is right there. And look at this. Look at what I'm looking at here. I'm looking at this distance compared to that distance. You see how it's because it's on a 3/4 view, and the same thing over here. Look, it's like this, and then I get it long, and it comes back down. You see that? Let's draw that. Short, and then long. Now this one's going to wrap around a little bit. Short, long. Let's get the eyelid, the top eyelid on the right hand side, and it's coming up and above. It's feeling the curve going around that eyeball. And then the left-hand side, it's coming like this. You see that? It has that slight edge right there. And I come right around. You see that? So let's look at that a little bit more closely. I'm going to put it up here. So when I did the eyelid, I came around like this. All right. Then I came up straight like this. And then I came back around again like this. See, this gives the sense that that eyelid is coming, it's jetting out. It's coming out from the folds of her, of that top visor there. Okay, let's kind of leave those there, and I'll tell you what, let's get these lower eyelids in as well. It's coming in, and it looks like I made my pupils too big, but I will adjust them. All right, let's work on this nose now. Okay, so this nose is coming underneath. Nostrils right here. Thing is, with a young girl, because she is so young, we don't want to use a lot of lines. It will age them immediately. That's why I think young people are hard to draw, because they just don't give us a lot of that information we need. What I'm doing right now is just using my eraser and just kind of taking away some of these guidelines. All right, let's continue on here. All right, the ball, look at this. Her the septum really comes out here. You see this? And let's draw the crease in between her lips here first, okay? And this is what I'm going to draw first. Let me show you. I'm going to draw this right there, just like that almost, okay? And then we're going to come down like this and barely down the other side. You see that? Now I'm going to get the top lip. It's going to have a little bit of a curve there. And this actually, look at this, I drew this wrong here. It actually has a bit of an upturn. All right, let's get the bottom lip now. All right. Okay, let's get this chin in now. All right, so now let's get to the left side of her face. Let's look at it closely here. That upper lip is a little bit in tone, not a lot. And definitely there's that great shadow underneath the lower lips. All right. Let's get some tone here above her eye. And this over here as well. Remember, drawing a portrait takes a long time. I mean, it takes a lot of practice, is what I'm saying. All right, let's get these pupils in. I'm going to make it much smaller than what I originally had here. I'm going to put a light tone in them right now. And then her pupil is just dark. And same with the other side. Also, I made this pupil, this iris, too big. she has some shading underneath her eyes, but there's that little bit of light that hits the top of that lower eyelid, and I want to show that. Okay, let's get her eyebrows in now, right? Okay, I'm going to draw the outline of these eyebrows first. And I've made mine just a little bit darker than the photo. Just going in with a little bit more shadow here. And then she has shadow under her nose I want to definitely capture. I want to be careful here. One thing when you're drawing noses, if you know, the tip of the nose can be a ball, and if you shade it, you have a common shade it underneath, and then right where it hits the light, you darken it in just a little bit. That will really cause a bit of a reflection that's quite nice. So in my nose here, I've done that almost by using this, just a slight line. Okay. Looking at her forehead here. Curving around here. All right, let's think of this hair, but let's not think of hair as individual strands. Let's think of it more with volume, like we're literally creating the hair out of Play-Doh and putting it on top. Okay, so let's try and get that in our head as we're doing the hair. So first thing, I'm going to draw the outside silhouette or shape of it. Okay. All right, let's bring this over here with some surface lines. Okay. All right, let's get this other side now. She's got this beautiful curl here. You know, of all my artists, of all the artists, my favorite artist, who I think just does incredible hair, is J.C. Leyendecker. If you live in Northern California, I think there's a museum near outside of Sacramento that has a lot of his work. I'm telling you, one of these days I would like to go out there and actually see some of his paintings. So I'm using surface lines here. To create this sense of volume. Just going slowly. Okay, let's go ahead and, what are we doing? 54. Okay, let's try and get these last couple bits in here, okay? All right, so this, her neck is coming straight down. And then right down here, this is important. You want to get this tendon that's going from her ear down to the pit of her neck. And then the neck kind of comes down right into the pit of the neck. You see that? Back's coming around here. Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this negative shape here. Let me bring this up. Right in here. You see this? You want to be aware of that negative shape. add some tone. And then her collarbone's coming over here. Last thing I want to do for mine is I'm going to add a slight tone to her hair overall. I'm going to go very slowly here so I get a nice even coverage. Then I could go back into it again and get some of those darker lights, darker values. All right, I think that's going to do it for tonight. Like I said before, please like and subscribe to the video. If you're part of our Facebook group, man, I'd love to see what you've done. So make sure you add that to our group. Oh, last thing, look at this. Look at this right. Look at this, what I just did over here. You see that right there? There was a, that's like a letter T. And what I'm doing is I'm saying like, okay, that's the side of the cheek. Here comes the neck. And then there's the back. You see that? And that really gives a sense of depth and layering. Okay, that's what I got tonight. My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws. And thank you for everyone who tuned in live to watch it happen. And hello to everyone who's going to tune in a little bit later. I hope you guys have a great evening. And go out there and just rest up, and we will see you tomorrow, okay? Oh, there's John. He just gave me a clap. Thank you, my friend. Can't wait to see everyone's work, okay? Great job, everyone. We will see you tomorrow. All right.